Hello and welcome to True Talk Chelsea. This is the number one podcast for all your Chelsea wants and needs. We hope you enjoy.
The summer of 2020 saw Chelsea stun the world football by splashing in excess of £220 million. As we approach the summer transfer window, Chelsea will look to capitalise on their financial dominance over other clubs who have been badly affected by the coronavirus. There have been reports which suggest that owner Roman Abramovich has trusted manager Tuchel and promised him a spending spree of £300 million if he manages to qualify for Champions League football next season, which seems highly possible right now. Spending money is one thing, and wisely spending money is another. We can see this with the fact that many of our signings from the 2020 transfer window have failed to make an impact at Stamford Bridge. To name a few, Kai Havertz was signed for £72 million and still has just one Premier League goal to his name. Hakim Ziyech was signed from Ajax for £32 million. He has spent most of the season sidelined due to injury and has failed to settle to life in England. Timo Werner was signed for £52 million. While he has had a decent number of goals and assists, it would be fair to say that he hasn't lived up to his expectation and his price tag. Therefore, I've decided to make this video in which I give my opinions on the players that Chelsea should look to sign and those that Chelsea should avoid in the transfer window of 2021. So, without any further ado, let us get started with the list. The first player is going to be the most popular opinion among all Chelsea fans right now. It is the solution to our striker problems. There have been reports which suggest that Tammy Abraham would leave the club in the summer, and even Olivier Giroud looks to be heading towards the exit door and is constantly aging. Timo Werner has at many times preferred the wide left position. This leaves Chelsea without a recognized centre forward, and I think Chelsea should highly prioritise signing a world class accomplished centre forward. And I see Chelsea going all out for Erling Braut Haaland. Haaland is an exceptional goal scorer and a generational talent, in my opinion, and I don't need to justify why Chelsea should go all out to sign the very talented young Norwegian. However, the twist comes last week when German outlet Bild reported that Haaland is not willing and is not keen to move to Chelsea. Well, if this is true, then Chelsea should, as a backup, look no further than current Inter Milan striker Romelu Lukaku. I think Lukaku is a physical striker who has good pace, good finishing. He's already proven. He has had a good stint with Everton, a decent time at Manchester United, and an amazing time in Syria with Inter Milan. As I said, he's strong, he's physical, he's an asset in counter attacks. He's already been at Chelsea, so he's used to life in England. He is used to the style of play of English football, and therefore I don't think he would need a lot of time to adapt to uh, the Premier League after his move. And he's approaching the prime and peak years of his career. And I definitely think that uh, Haaland is younger, but Lukaku is a more complete and proven striker than Haaland. Despite this, I would prefer Holland, but doesn't look like Holland prefers Chelsea right now, and therefore I would definitely go for Romelu Lukaku as a backup if we could not complete the signing of Erling Haaland. Moving on from the striker position to the centre back position, which is another position which Chelsea definitely require some recruitments in the summer. The recent resurgence of Andreas Christensen, Antonio Rudiger, along with Thiago Silva, may mean that Chelsea might require just one centre back. However, I definitely think that Thiago Silva is aging right now. Even Cesar Azpilicueta isn't getting any younger. And Rudiger and Christensen have had 7 to 8 good games, which is not quite uh, enough security. Probably more trust will be built if they have like one good season or maybe two good seasons. That's because of this aging group of defenders. I definitely think that Chelsea should go for a young centre back instead. And before entering the global market for renowned centre backs like Rafael Varane, who has been linked to Chelsea, I would highly insist Chelsea to look into their own loan army and recall either of these two centre backs, which I name are Fikayo Tomori, who is currently out on loan at AC Milan, or if not, then Mark Guehi, who's out on loan at Swansea City. Both of these centre backs have had good starts to life at their loan clubs and are looking already very impressive. Tomori has just moved in the January window and has had very good games and received praise from sporting director and also one of the greatest defenders in the history of the game, Paolo Maldini. Mark Guehi, on the other hand, has definitely been the championship's one of the best defenders so far this season. I can definitely see him getting into the championship team of the season as well. The only issue with Fikayo Tomori is that his loan move involves an option to buy. However, fees the option to buy fees is quite high, as described by Milan's director, and thus this might lead to them opting against making his move permanent. But if they do so, I would really want to see Mark Guehi getting a chance in the first team. I think he's a really good defender, and even when he played for Chelsea last season, very small patches, he was quite impressive. And those who've been following our Loan Watch segment, we've been keeping you up to date on his weekly performances. So Mark Guehi has been quite impressive, and I definitely want to see him in the Chelsea first team next season. The second centre back, which I would see from the global market, would be I would suggest Chelsea to trigger the release clause of Jules Koundé from Sevilla. I recently read a report which said that Manchester United aren't willing to pay the 68 million release clause of Koundé, while the a bit high. Uh, number would look a bit high for someone who is that young and isn't proven, but I definitely see the potential in Jules Koundé. He's not the tallest, but he's an amazing defender, comfortable with the ball at his feet, very good at one-on-one defending, which means that he can offer some versatility in which he can be an emergency right back at times. He's a good tackle of the ball, reads the game well, and I've seen many pages, I've seen many pundits who are full of praises of Jules Koundé. And as much as I've seen him, I think he can be the world's best defender in 5 to 6 years' time once we are done with the likes of Ramos and Varane. So we could have Jules Koundé as probably the face of defending in football. And I definitely think that Chelsea should trigger his release clause before he moves to another club. Well, another suggestion that I would give was to recall Armando Broa from Vitesse. Broa is currently out on loan in Netherlands and he's on an amazing goal scoring run. The Albanian striker is actually the top scoring teenager in European football, which is quite an accomplishment. I don't think that he fits into the first team just as yet because there's actually no point in making him probably the third or fourth choice striker and giving him very limited minutes. Rather, uh, if I was Marina Granatskaya, I would recall um, Broha from Netherlands, send him out on loan to a Premier League club so that he gets some valuable first team Premier League minutes. And I definitely think that with the kind of form that Broa has shown, there would be numerous clubs that would be interested, numerous Premier League clubs that would be interested in signing the Albanian on a loan. Now, next thing I would say was Chelsea to not sign Jadon Sancho. Yes, you've heard that right. This is extremely unpopular. I can already sense people disagreeing with me. But if I was Marina Granovsky, if I was Chelsea, I would not sign Jadon Sancho. I don't see it being good value for money to splash what 70, 80 million for Jadon Sancho, considering our existing range of wingers. I think, particularly with Callum Hudson-Odoi, I'm not saying that Hudson-Odoi is better than Sancho at the moment, but I definitely think that the bridge between the two players, the gap between the two players, is a lot lesser than people think. It's mainly due to the numbers that Sancho puts up, the assist and goal numbers in the Bundesliga, which I might remind you is a far weaker defensive league than the Premier League. I definitely think that if Hudson-Odoi moves to the Bundesliga, the goals and assist number that he will put up there would be quite similar to Jadon Sancho. Hudson-Odoi is already settled in a good Chelsea squad, offers us amazing versatility. He can play down the right, down the left, and also the new wing back position on the Tuchel, which I'm not so sure Sancho will be able to offer us. We've already got surplus wingers with Pulisic, Ziyech, Havertz, Werner, who can also play on the left, and Hudson-Odoi. And I do not think it's value for money for splashing out on Jadon Sancho, who, like Havertz and Werner, will require time to settle in England. He's from England, of course, but still, he major part of his senior career he's played in the Bundesliga. What I mean is that I do not see this risk as one which is worth taking, considering that we already have Hudson-Odoi, which whom I rate as much as Jadon Sancho. The next don't will be Chelsea should not go to sign a goalkeeper in the transfer window. For some reason, I'm seeing Chelsea being constantly linked to a goalkeeper, firstly with Dean Henderson, then Gianluigi Donnarumma, and I fail to understand why. I fail to understand why do we need a goalkeeper right now? Why should a goalkeeper be one of our concerns when we already have Edward Mendy, who's been one of the best keepers in the Premier League this season? I think that's 12 clean sheets in 22 games in the Premier League and 5 clean sheets in the 6 games in the Champions League. Very solid, looking even better with the ball at his feet when he tried to play out from the back. But another point is that I definitely think Kepa Arrizabalaga can turn his Chelsea career. We all know that Kepa is an amazing keeper. We saw that with the likes of his performances at Athletic Bilbao at in first season at Chelsea, which was the 18-19 season. All he lacks is confidence, and giving him these small runs of EFL Cup games, potentially weak ties in weaker games in the Premier League, like we did against Newcastle. Him making some good saves, getting some highly deserved clean sheets will definitely boost his confidence. And in this way, Kepa is still very young, 25, I think, still got a lot of time as a keeper. And if he can continue to regain this performance, I think he can be a long term solution, and he can definitely be a lot better pitcher than what he is right now, which would help us sell him uh, for a bigger price so that we can recover a lot more of the world record fees that we did pay for him. So honestly, I do not see us needing Donnarumma. As much as I like him, I think that Edward Mendy, who is probably 29, not so sure about his age, has still got good years in him for a goalkeeper. At the same time, I would see Kepa Arrizabalaga turning his Chelsea career on its head and doing well, and then potentially being a long-term guardian of the sticks at Stamford Bridge. This, along with the fact that we should not sign Sancho, we should go for Haaland. If not Haaland, Romelu Lukaku. We should recall Armando Broja, give him chance in another Premier League club. And finally, what was it? We should, yeah, trigger Jules Kounde's release clause would be my suggestions for how Chelsea should plan their summer of 2021. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more top quality Chelsea content, make sure you keep listening to True Talk Chelsea. Thank you.